Hey everybody. Welcome to a Knit Sheep Knits and Crochets. AKS Knits and Crochets number 49. Okay, got it out.
We maybe should have filmed tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe. Perhaps.
We've been having some allergy issues, so we're a little goofy.
Yeah, I've been on decongestants and Benadryl for 4 days, so you get what you get. I lost my train of thought. Hi, I'm Lisa. I told you.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those
little
days.
Tiny bit loopy from all the allergy meds.
Okay.
So in this episode, we're going to be talking about our recent trip to the Garden State Sheep Breeders Sheep and Fiber Festival, also known as New Jersey Sheep and Wool. We had a wonderful time. I think I can make that blanket statement.
It was a little hot, but other than that, yeah. I mean, the weather was beautiful because we went on Saturday and it rained Sunday. So I'm really glad we went to Saturday. I mean, blue skies, and we took a wrong turn coming home. So we ended up taking the scenic route home, but it was very scenic.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
It was very pretty.
I mean, river views. I'm like, well, dang.
That worked. It was a happy accident. But yeah, we got there. And as soon as we got there, we ran into some people we knew. So we said hello to everyone. And then it was just about the yarn, man.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But I think that's part of the joy of going to a fiber festival. You're in a space where everybody who's there is into what you're into. You know, you're not the odd person out in any way, shape, or form. And everybody's excited about the same thing. So that was really one of the fun things. What was your highlight of the day?
The yarn.
Like all of it.
What are we talking about?
All of it all piled up.
I like being in spaces where I'm surrounded by things I really like. Mm-hmm. So I like being in like yarn stores or yarn festivals where there's just a bunch of yarn around. I like being like libraries or bookstores or book sales where there's just lots of books around. I like the abundance.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just the atmosphere.
I am pretty much the same. I get very excited when there's a lot of yarn around. I absolutely love it. I love being able to talk to so many different people, and we all have this something in common that we can always talk about and chat about.
But let me tell y'all, this one is hosted by Sheep Breeders Association. It's very sheep forward. So the buildings where the festival set up, there are like these 4 barns that like go back in a line, and then off to the side there's a building they call the Grange. The first 2 barns, it was sheep.
Yeah.
Like actual sheep.
All different
They
breeds.
were shearing the sheep. And then there's some sort of like awards thing happening. So they're giving the farmers awards for their sheep in barn 2. I don't know how you tell one sheep from another, but they seem to take that very seriously. So if you have an interest in actual sheep, mm-hmm. This is the festival for you. It's not just the yarn. It's like seriously like about sheep.
Yeah.
And it's also a good festival to get fleece at. The fleece is your thing.
Absolutely.
And the New Jersey Spinners, I think the New Jersey Guild of Spinners and Hand Weavers, they're always at this particular festival. So you can actually see people spinning. You can buy fleece from them. So if you're into that side of things, this is a good festival for you. But barn 2 was smelly.
A little bit. It was very sheepy smelling because, you know, there was sheep. So
it was smelly.
There you go. All kinds of sheep though. But what was I going to say? I don't know. It'll come back. I was really impressed with how organized everything was, you know, from the
yeah, we gotta talk about one thing though.
Oh, what?
Okay. I'm sure this is just me. I was never like a Girl Scout or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
So at any given moment, I don't know what direction I'm facing. Like the cardinal directions. Don't ask me. I don't know. I'm not even that handy with a compass. So in their little vendor list where they tell you where all the vendors are, it's like northeast wall, southwest wall. So at one point I was standing in the middle of a barn, kind of just spinning in a circle, like, where is this booth I'm looking for?
Okay, I'm at booth number 49.
And
Which
the booths
way?
are not numbered like that. I don't know why. I don't know if sheep breeders just have this instinctive sense of direction, so this made sense to them. I don't know.
That was the
But
one
just
odd
know
thing.
that, like, if you are directionally challenged like I am, you're just gonna have to walk around and look at the booths or just ask someone where the booth you want is.
Absolutely.
Because, honey, who knows what the northwest wall is?
Yeah.
That was the only shortcoming of this. Just number the booths. If anyone from the association sees this, number the booths, please.
Prominently, so we can see the numbers. Because I'm sure they were numbered in some way, some arcane way that we couldn't see. But yeah, I think that overall the traffic flow was good.
Yeah,
There
parking was
never...
abundant.
Oh gosh, yes.
And a lot of handicap parking too, much closer to the barns.
Mm-hmm. And there were porta potties everywhere.
Yeah, and Lisa really liked the hand washing stations.
You know, it's the first time I've ever seen it, but it just made so much sense to me.
Weird. You have to like pump a thing with your foot to make the water come out, and I was having trouble pumping hard enough, and it was a weird thing. But
to be able to have clean hands before we went and handled our food.
And Lisa, she was like, "Oh, so." At the lunch portion of the event, Lisa was like, "Oh, let's wash our hands. I have soap." And so just in my head, I assume that she has those little, flower petal things that's just like a single sheet of soap and it's one use and you use it. Why does chick bring out a bottle of Dr. Bronner's? I was like,
oh, it wasn't a big bottle. It was the little bottle.
It was a whole bottle. It wasn't travel size.
It traveled in my backpack.
I was like, that's what she meant by soap? Yeah, but they did have hand washing stations.
Which, let me tell you, that is going to be my benchmark for outdoor events from now on. Because the other thing was that the porta potties, the one I used was reasonable. And I was able to wash my hands afterwards, like full on soap water, paper towel. And I even had a little paper towel thing.
I'm like properly middle-aged, and I have the fortune of being able to say I've never used a porta potty. And if I make it to the conclusion of my days still being able to say that, I will consider it a life well lived.
Okay,
so there we have it.
I think if you're going to do if you haven't done a festival, I think New Jersey Shipping would be a great one to start with.
Yeah, and it wasn't like crazy crowded.
Yeah.
Like I think they had like a good audience size, but it was comfortable. Like you weren't bumping into people as you were trying to walk. Because like Vogue knitting, that'd be crowded.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes at Vogue, some booths would be 4 people deep. And you can't even get
and the stories I hear about like Rhinebeck and Maryland.
Yeah, we haven't been to Rhinebeck.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. It was much more comfortable.
So if it's
but still a really good number of vendors.
How many vendors do you think there were?
I don't know.
I'm suspecting. No, of course not.
It was a lot.
Yeah,
at least 50.
At least 50 of all kinds of ilk. So when you go, you're not going to just see yarn and fleece, depending on the festival, but people who do things with every phase of wool and fiber. So, of course, the spinners were there. There was a bit of weaving to be had. Interesting lady who was doing those felted scarves.
Yeah, I really like those. Oh my gosh, they were beautiful. I didn't know, like, we have a picture. It's not the greatest picture, but just to give you an idea, that's the bottom one.
Okay.
So her company is called I Felt. And so she uses like silk fabrics. And then those white polka dots are actually felted on to the material. I didn't know you could felt onto a fabric other than like, more wool. Mm-hmm. And she had a lot of like different designs. That was the one I fell in love with, the polka dots. Mm-hmm. Now they're not inexpensive. That one was $350. So no, I did not buy it. But would I have, like, if I had that money to give to this woman, would I have? Yes, hands down, because her work was beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And that's just one example. They were fabulous. And it was wool felted onto silk.
And her company's called I Felt, 2 words. But So there was all kinds of cool stuff there.
Any tool you're looking for. And then there's other farm products. So there are soap makers and
Oh yeah, Mom got some soap.
yeah, just everything. So it's really just a wonderful day to just
This
go and walk
fragrance she
around.
got is called Sand in Your Crack.
Yeah. That lady had a lot of fun
She
naming
had
her
some
soaps.
cheeky soap names,
Yes.
apparently.
Sand in Your Crack, cheeky
Well,
name. I see what you did there.
completely unintentional. Okay.
But I wanted to kind of highlight the vendors because we were talking about how we don't always see crochet, prominently displayed at these festivals. Once again, there wasn't that much crochet samples to be seen, but I made it a point to take pictures of the vendors' booths that did show us some crochet of some sort. So one booth, this is a relatively new dyer. Her company is called Mabel's Cables, and she had a couple of crochet samples and a little granny square. But she started dyeing, I think it was last year. So she is just kind of at the beginning of her career, and she is a local dyer to us. And then there is also another local dyer to us, a friend of ours actually. Her company is called Three Bunny Designs, and she is a crocheter, so her samples tend to be crocheted. But I think it's really awesome to be able to see your highly variegated hand-dyed yarns, both knit and crochet.
It's really important with variegated and self-striping.
Exactly.
Because the calculations for getting self-striping yarn and knitting is completely different for crochet. So
do check out Three Bunny Designs. And then one of the big dyers that was there is Shersey Cat. And what I
didn't
liked,
even see those.
Yeah, I really liked that she had a whole ring with pretty much every color she had brought with us. Half the swatches were crocheted, half the swatches were knit.
That's cool.
So there was a knit swatch and a crochet swatch for every color, which I like that.
I spent some time at her booth, but I had yarn fever. I didn't.
Yeah, she wasn't looking at anything like that.
I had the fever, but bad.
Yeah, the fever for the flavor. Now, you had wanted to highlight at least one more booth, or two more, I think. Okay, you're gonna love this one.
Okay, they get my award for best logo, like hands down. All of their yarn, so they're a mother and daughter who dye yarn, and all of their yarn is based on jokes and things from the show The Golden Girls. So their company is called The Golden Pearls, and their logo is Sophia and
Dorothy.
I was gonna say Blanche. Sophia and Dorothy as sheep. What?
I love it.
I like if you look at the picture, you can see. I see Sophia. I see Dorothy.
Absolutely,
brilliant.
Absolutely.
They honestly just got me with their gimmick. I bought up scanning yarn from them just because that logo is so funny.
And then you fell in love with these bags.
Yeah, I almost got one. They're made with Harris tweed, so it's really like beautiful plaid wool. Like all the fabric is all wool, and they had a lot of really beautiful styles, and I almost bought one even though I was already over budget. That's how much I really loved it, but I was.
And you have 7,000 bags?
I was less bad. I wouldn't say I was good because I did go over budget, but I was less bad and I did not get one, but I regret it.
Oh, wow. You know what? They have a website. So I do encourage you, even if you didn't get to go to the festival, if you go to Sheep and Wool's, Garden State Sheep and Wool's website,
which is njsheep.net.
Yes, njsheep.net. The vendor list is still up. Definitely check out the ones that have websites.
They had like some, like if you don't knit or crochet or spin or weave, they still had some vendors that like you could have bought some stuff from. So if you were like, say, stuck going with a yarny friend,
yes,
you might have found that they had this woman who was sewing like these beautiful ruanas.
That's right.
Yeah,
but she recycled.
Yeah, she uses vintage fabrics.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little shopping event, and if you have good weather, it's like totally worth it.
So we had a blast. I think that is the upshot, and definitely go to a yarn festival. You're gonna love it.
So Lisa made us lunch
Ah,
because you know what, they do have like some food trucks and stuff, but like we're all lactose intolerant. Lisa's gluten free. Lisa and mom are both gluten free. So, you can't always be sure at an event like this that you're going to have enough that you can eat. I was pescatarian for years, so we were a real challenge to
yeah.
feed the three of us together. So I started eating meat again, but it's still hit and miss.
Mm-hmm.
So Lisa wanted to make sure we bought, and I recommend that. I recommend that highly. Just
Yeah.
bringing your own food.
Pack a lunch.
Because we had a lovely lunch. I took a picture of it, and I'm not one of those people that takes pictures of my food.
I know. I was surprised when you did it.
It was just so cute, and so she made this grilled corn salad. The salad was actually really good, and she had orange slices. But I wanted to show you all the chicken. First of all, she made chicken lollipop. So apparently, you push all the meat to the top.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Why do you do that? What is
it makes it easy to eat. I cut out all the tendons. The bone that's usually in there. I cut all that out.
Yeah. Well, we had chicken lollipops, but you see that foil on the drumstick? We call them chicken mittens because apparently she put those on so you can eat with your hands without getting messy. How cute is she? And now I don't want to eat drumsticks without chicken mittens anymore.
That's what Mom said too. It's like I'm never eating a drumstick without a chicken. So
we had some chicken at home, when we got back home, and I took the foil off, put it in the microwave, heated up, but then I put my mitten right back on it because I'm like, this is brilliant. I'm like, why doesn't everyone do this? Why isn't it chicken mittens as far as the eye can see?
I
yeah,
really
that's our
wish,
phone ringing.
Yeah, that's okay. The phone could not ring all day. Let us record something.
But yeah, so we had chicken with chicken mittens and then homemade cinnamon muffins. And it was a lovely, because by the time we had lunch, we was hungry.
It was so funny because Crystal was getting grumpy. I was starting to feel grumpy. And Mom just finally piped up and said, I want something to eat.
So we actually went and just sat in the car because they had just a few picnic tables there. There really weren't enough picnic tables for the number of people who attended.
Yeah, and it wasn't like they had just a handful, but it was about
but all the tables
10,
were
15,
full.
Yeah. And they were cheek by jowl, and we were not doing that.
So we just went to the car and we sat and ate, and it was very lovely and civilized.
We were happy because we tailgated and didn't have to watch a football game.
I think yarn tailgating should be a thing.
I think so too.
But always put mittens on your chicken so you don't get the yarn dirty.
There you go.
But yeah, so that was just like an overview of our day. But we know what you're here for.
The haul.
So we have some yarn to show you all. Lisa.
Okay, I will go first.
Lisa's haul is a little different.
All right, I'm going to start with the book I got. I saw this book and I had to have it because I'm entering a space where I want to embroider on my knits. So I am learning all about various ways to decorate my knitting. So this one is all about duplicate stitch, a whole book on how to duplicate stitch your sweaters.
I can't believe that thing on the front is duplicate stitch.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That is duplicate stitch. Actually, you know what it is? The triangles, the parallelograms, whatever they are knit in tarsia, and then the flower is duplicate stitch. A lot of work. But
okay, I'm gonna go seashells. So let's show the picture on the back.
Oh yeah.
That is so 80s. Oh my god.
The fun part about duplicate stitch though is that you can put things anywhere.
Oh, do you see she has a conch shell to her ear?
Yeah, girl. Did you see that? You can put things anywhere. You don't have to worry about floats. You don't have to, and that's why these shells are scattered across the sweater like that. So, duplicate stitch, here I come. So, I went to the festival with a plan in mind. Okay. I didn't want to just have yarn fever because that's happened to me before. And it's no bueno. And I know I know what my next project is going to be. So I was like, all right, I'm going to look for a yarn for my next project. And that's literally the first time I've ever done that, going to a yarn festival. So I was thinking I wanted to get some breed specific wool in some natural color from the sheep as my background color. And I found some. So the first uh, wool I got was from a farm called Berry Meadow. And not only is it a breed specific, it's a 100% Rambouillet, born and raised in New Jersey, but it came from a sheep called Madeline. Isn't she cute? Look at that. So I down to know the name of the sheep my wool came from.
I don't know if I like that, but
Now, what does Rambouillet feel like? Because I got several breed specific wools and they all feel different from each other. So this one has a bounciness to it. It's not a super tight twist. And for me, it is a next to the skin soft. What do you think? Because you're the arbiter of softness.
I mm-mm.
Now, is it scratchy like Icelandic?
It's not scratchy, but it's just not. It's smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So there's a smoother one. This is from the Rose Field. It's Leicester long wool, also in a natural white. This one feels smooth.
it's better.
But I wanted to get.
Neither of those is merino.
No, they're not merino. And I specifically did not want merino.
I know.
Only because the sweater I'm planning to make, I plan to wear a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And both of these will wear better than merino will. They'll hold their shape better, and they will wear better than merino.
Sweaters are meant to last forever, okay? You get your wear out of it, and then you move on.
This is also from Berry Meadow. This is from a sheep named Stella.
I know there's a picture.
Yeah, that was adorable. Although there's another sheep. Oh, you know what? I think she told me the sheep's name. Oh, the second sheep's name is William. So, so this is a Rambouillet and Romneydale mix. So give that a feel.
I don't know. No, I wouldn't wear that now.
And this is also in the natural color. So the farmer told me that she only has a few of these left. So what I'm going to be doing is swatching all of these and then deciding which fabric I like best.
How are your hall chores? Oh my gosh.
So then I was thinking, my sweater that I plan to make is the Aquamary sweater by Naomi Watts Cherry. I'm pretty sure I got her first name wrong, but her last names are Watts Cherry. Cheryl Watts Cherry.
Is that the lady who did the Nubian sweater?
Yeah,
okay.
She did the Nubian Queen. So I wanted to have a stripe, the stripe colors. So at first I was thinking totally other colors, but this yarn inspired me to do a yellow of some sort. This is Sassy Black Yarns, and it's a worsted weight Peruvian Highland wool. And I'm giving her those to feel because I think her reactions are amusing.
I don't know why.
Look at me,
Florence! I feel like this one is better than the others. Yeah, I if I had to wear one of these because I did something bad, it would be
now compared to the Leicester long wool.
This is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you could be down with that, but I'm not getting any super washes because
what's that about?
Because my sweater is going to be long and heavy, and it's going to pull itself out of shape. If I use a non-super wash wool, it won't just keep on growing. So then, in the last barn, I saw this and I was like, "Yas, look at this!" I call it my yarn baby. This is going to be part of my stripe for my Aquamiri sweater. And I'm thinking I'm going to end up using maybe something like this as the background color, or I don't know. This might be my background color. And then I need one more color to just set it off because it has three colors to it.
Mhm.
So I might go with like a chocolatey brown that I can probably get in a natural sheep color. So this
These are
is,
all like different. They're gonna work up at different gauges, though.
yeah, they certainly are.
Is it? It's in Tarsia. That won't
Hmm.
be a problem.
It shouldn't be because I don't think they're going to work up at radically different gauges.
Okay.
I was looking for yarns that were, around the same ish. So this is Spinaway Farm. This is a hand dyed Persian worsted weight wool, and it's approximately 500 yards to a 10-ounce skein. So this is actually all I will need for this
Oh,
particular color in the sweater.
that's cool.
Yep. And it was on sale. I was so excited. But that's my entire haul from
Right.
Shapeable.
So we have Mom's haul here too. He'll show you Mom's one. Now, Mom got some of that same yarn, the Persian hand dye that Lisa got. So she got these two. Now, I haven't talked to her about what her plans are for these, so I'll just show you the yarn.
Yeah.
She's got those two, and then oh, this is from our friend at Three Bunnies. This is such a beautiful color.
Yes.
Bunny's got her blue jeans on. Sparkle. I'm a little jealous. This is really pretty.
Yeah. Bunny's Out of Blue Jeans on is one of my favorites.
I might
from
have
her.
to get some of this from her website, but I absolutely. It's showing up a little bit more like teal on camera, but I understand it's like definitely the colors like blue jeans come in.
Mhm.
It's dark blues and like that.
Medium
Yes.
and the lightest. Yeah, it's definitely like jeans.
So it's definitely more blue than it's showing on camera. And then my mom, because she's hilarious, she got Chelsea Luxe Duet. So this is two different yarns. It's cobblestone, which is like a nubbly kind of thing. And then the mohair, which is just called Luxe Mohair. But my mom's been buying this yarn for a few months now because we went to a trunk show. Oh, did she get the first? Yeah, she got the first one at New Jersey Wool Walk. She bought one of these because it's expensive because it's two yarns together. So I think this is 52.
58.
Oh, yeah, it's expensive. But she bought one at New Jersey Wool Walk. But then she got an idea of what she wanted to do with it, and she knew she needed more. So we went out to the shore stores again to go to a trunk show at Balzac and Company. And so we hopped over to
Wool and Grace.
Yeah, Wool and Grace because they're like 10 minutes away. And she picked up a second one of these. So now we just went to New Jersey Sheepable where she picked up her third one of these. So I don't know if she has enough now to make her jacket that she's planning or if we're going to have to go to some other event and buy one more.
We're probably going to need a couple more because she's planning a sort of kimono style jacket.
Yeah. So we're just, hopping along by one of these everywhere we go. So that is Mom's haul. Now, I have the most basic haul of all of the hauls because I just bought a bunch of hand-dyed merino. And judge if you want to. So, what do I have here? Now, this is from Cozy Colorworks, and I actually have 2 skeins of this already, and I didn't think it was enough to make a thing. So I bought this to be a third skein, and I think between the 3 of them, I'll be able to make a thing. And this is hand dye superwash merino and 550 yards, which I think is like pretty darn tootin' good.
Yeah.
But it's just got the little flecks in it, just little tiny little speckles of color, and I like that. I like speckles, and I like a lot of speckles, and I like subtle speckles.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then I had to go to Yakigani because I love their yarn. And I saw this red and I was like, oh, I'm dying. And so I got this multi to go with it. So this is this is wool and yak. It's 20% yak, 70% merino, 10% nylon. And this is cherry red. And this is something called pyroclastic. So I got those and I love them. And this is my golden pearls yarn. And I love these colors.
You know, that reminds me of a Lola Bean, Electric Youth.
Mm-hmm. I have a sweater like you.
Mhm.
Apparently, I just like those colors.
Yeah.
This is called Any Flowers for Me Today, and it's just the merino nylon. I love it. And then I'm from Thirsty Cat. Now, we stopped at Thirsty Cat because we went like from barn 1 to 4 and then back from barn 4 to 1. So when we were going from 1 to 4, we went to Thirsty Cat and I saw some colors that I really, really liked and they were like weighing on me. So as we were going the other direction, it was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get something from Thirsty Cat. And Thirsty Cat's what put me over my budget. If I had stopped before Thirsty Cat, I'd have been fine. But I ended up not getting the yarn I had been thinking about, the color that I've been thinking about, because I started with this. It's called 101, as in 101 Dalmatians. And I was like, oh, she got me.
Yep.
She got me. That's it. And so then I wanted to get some yarns to go with this. So I ended up getting this gray, which is called Witch Hair, and a black tonal called Darkness. And I think the three of them together. I said this is me as a sweater. So I love it. And I regret my purchase. Like I have like 5% regret just because it put me over my budget, but 95%, I don't care. And then I pre-shopped by going to some of these websites ahead of time and trying to pick out what I wanted. And most of what I got was from the pre-shop. So Yakagani, Cozy Colorworks, Iceland Yarns. This is an alpaca, silk, and cashmere lace weight.
Ooh la la.
Look at that, Matt. Boy, ain't she pretty? It feels
amazing. Let me feel it. Wow.
Right? Like butter. Whoa. And then this is a mohair silk that I'm going to hold with it.
Oh, it's going to be ethereal.
So I think that's everything. So like I said, Thirsty Cat was the problem because everything else was on my list except for Golden Pearls. And Thirsty Cat was what threw me off the budget bus. But I'm very happy with what I got. And now, because I'm designing my own things, I feel like I said this before, but I'm making better use of my yarn because I don't have to wait to pair it with a pattern.
Right.
I can just be inspired by the yarn itself and figure out what I'm going to do. But I did want to talk about the budget for just a moment because I just want to make clear that I was not like some hapless victim of capitalism.
Did somebody say something?
No, because people are saying how expensive yarn is and complaining about that. Look, I know how much yarn costs and I either, I buy it or I don't. But what I needed to do was have a strategy. And so now I have developed a strategy that I think will help me in the future with regard to my budget. And I just want to share the strategy because you might find it useful as well.
Fabulous.
So after I got home, I did my average price per skein and it worked out to be about $30, $31 per skein. So what I could have done, I realize now, is set an average price in my head and then figured out how many skeins I could have gotten within my budget.
That's brilliant.
And that would have been maybe 6 or 7 skeins. And then once I purchased 6 skeins, I could have stopped, done the math and said, okay, am I stopping here or am I going to consciously go over my budget? Because I didn't know how much I spent till I got home and I did the math. This way I can anticipate that by guesstimating how much yarn I should be buying at that budget level. And then, if I go over, that'll be on me choosing to spend a little bit more.
Right.
So I think that's just a strategy that can be used. I think, you might find it helpful because like I said, when I'm around all that yarn, I get excited. Yeah. I get the yarn fever and I don't be thinking straight. So not at all. So yeah, that's what I will do in the future. I will set a number of skeins and then go from there.
Well, for me too, I use this strategy for the first time because I too usually just get yarn fever and just go buck wild. And for my strategy, I decided to focus on this project I wanted to do. And it's actually easier to find breed specific yarns at a yarn festival
Yeah.
than it is at any other kind of event. And I checked with the farmers to find out, oh, do you guys mail order? Because what I did was I got a skein to just do my swatching from and see how I like the fabric. Because it sucks when you have bought the yarn already and then you realize I don't like it.
So is the sweater you're making at worsted weight, or are you sizing up again?
No, it's at worsted weight.
Okay.
It's at worsted weight, and it was actually made in a non-superwash yarn. So I knew I wanted a yarn, and I liked the way it hung,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew a superwash yarn would eventually kind of flop. Look at your face.
Yeah, that's fine.
Girl, you can't sell that to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
But because I knew it really helped to know what I wanted.
My Jersey cat is actually BFL. This is not.
Oh, that's right. But you know what? You didn't get all merino because you got the yak and merino, you got the cashmere and alpaca. You know, so you did get a mix of
Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah, Blueface Leicester is known to be a very nice feeling yarn.
It's squishy.
It's a long wool.
So I did step out of my merino comfort zone just a little bit, but I like merino.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You like what you like. And that's what I'm saying too. I like what I like. I like to match my yarn to the project.
She do. She like a woolly wool.
I do. I like a woolly wool.
She like the Icelandic yarn. And I was like,
that is the scratchiest yarn I've ever touched.
Okay, so you admit it's scratchy because sometimes she be trying to sell me on like, oh no, it's fine.
No, some things are, but that is literally the scratchiest yarn I've ever touched.
I feel like if I was in Iceland and I had the choice between wearing scratchy wool or dying from the extreme cold, I guess I would wear the scratchy wool. But I am not in Iceland. You see how that works? Okay.
But
I saw this TV show that is filmed in Iceland, and like there was like unusually bad snow because I'm sure they get. I have no idea what that was.
Me neither.
Bad snow all the time, but they got usually bad snow, bad enough that they sent the kids home from school, and the kids had to make like a human chain.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
they have weather there. They have weather.
So I guess if you in human chain country, you wear the scratchy wool.
Yes,
and
it does soften over time. It'll never feel like merino though, but it will hold up very nicely over time. And that's what I also wanted. So what I want to suggest to you guys is think about how much you want to wear the project, how often. Think about the characteristics you want it to have. This is a long line cardigan, so I didn't want it to be distorted out of shape, easily as it would be in a merino or a superwash wool in general. And I wanted it to have the fabric to have the bounce. And anyway, that's what I was thinking. And knowing what project I was looking for yarn for, I was not at all tempted by all the beautiful colored yarns that I was seeing.
I don't know how you did that, girl.
I
almost came home with a tweed bag. I was so tempted by all the things.
But I was able to tell them, I'm going to get this skein today because I want to swatch it. I want to wash my swatch. I want to play with my swatch. And then I will know exactly. And I think that's part of how you get a really great looking finished product too. You've already done the experimentation, and then you can move on to the implementation. So it's something to think about, and it's a way to focus in on what you really want, because there were some beautiful colors there. Oh my God.
I really wanted some neon yarn, but by the time I got to the booth that had the neon yarn,
you had already busted the budget.
Girl, I had spent my lunch money. So
I know Crystal was like, I'm so glad I didn't spend any money on lunch.
I was glad we didn't have to pay for food too, because I feel like what we would have spent on food was like a skein. I feel like I have one more skein of yarn because I didn't have to buy lunch. So for me,
you didn't even get a funnel cake. And you love funnel cake.
I didn't get a funnel cake.
The line for the funnel cake was long though.
Yeah, so all the money went to yarn. I regret nothing.
Me neither. I had a wonderful day. The weather was great. The ride was scenic. lunch was bang because food's even better when you're really hungry too. And we were
We were
hungry.
hungry. We were hungry. And we had packed it, Lisa had packed it in like a thermal bag with ice packs and stuff. So it wasn't just like, hot car food. It was,
I
still
know.
nice and cool.
After we ate, she goes, I was worried about leaving the food in the hot car.
I was. Little did I know, Lisa had thought of that. And so she gave me one of the ice packs because we were hot. So she gave me one of the ice packs. She's like, "Oh, here, put this behind your neck." I was like, "Okay." So then she offered one to mom. She was like, "Mom, do you want to put this other ice pack behind your neck?" I was like, "Yeah, you should do it. It's nice." It did really help, like, cool me down some because it was hot. Although I have to say, so we were all wearing things that we made.
Oh yeah.
So mom was wearing a Tunisian cotton sweater that she made, and Lisa was wearing her coral tank top, and I wore my handkerchief hem top. And I mentioned before it's lace weight, and it ended up being like 3,000 yards, but it does not wear like 3,000 yards of yarn. It was so comfortable. It was light. It was flowy, and I'm happy I got to debut it, but it was incredibly pleasant to wear. Oh my gosh, I'm beyond happy with that top, and I got like compliments on it.
Oh yes, people were like in love, in love.
So I got a little stink face from someone when I told her there was no pattern. It was a little bit, but other than that, it's all very positive.
Mm-hmm. But that's the other thing that I'm discovering from now wearing my natural fibers. I don't really want to wear my cotton polys anymore. I'm going to be retiring them as I make more natural fiber stuff because it's actually more comfortable.
I've been doing that. I've had 2 things now that I've remade from things that were previously done in acrylic. So I'm working like through my old catalog and replacing some things. But yeah, so that was our day. It was lovely. Mm-hmm. And I wonder how it went Sunday just because of the rain. I don't know if it affected turnout at all because they had a few outdoor vendors. So there were people. Well, the barns are open sided, so technically it was all outdoors. Yeah. But they had some vendors like on a little path between the barns and the grange, the path that you walk to get from one to the other. There were vendors there as well, and that was like completely like uncovered. Yeah. So I don't know what they did the next day.
Hopefully they just got like the burst and then it went away. But even if they did get a bit of rain, the way it's set up there, you wouldn't have the mud situation that they had at Maryland Sheep and Wool.
There was mud. When we went a few years ago, it had rained real bad the night before Sheep and Wool, New Jersey Sheep and Wool, and it was a little muddy.
It was a little muddy.
But it was very, very nice this time.
Absolutely. If you are still cautious about being in crowds, as we wore masks the whole time. There are very few other people wearing masks. So if that's an issue, keep that in mind that there's no guarantee that the crowd will be masked. But I found that wearing my mask made me just feel way more comfortable because I'm not used to being around that many people anymore. And I'm a former subway rider, like daily. And now I'm not used to being in crowds.
Yeah, I personally recommend New Jersey Sheep and Wool. Yeah. If you're looking for especially if you're looking for like a starter yarn festival, you haven't been to one before. It's nice. It's sedate.
Yeah, and it's not so huge that you can't walk the whole thing in a day. Like Maryland Sheep and Wool, most of the people that go, it's a 2-day event for them. Unless they are just seeing, specific vendors, because
you will spend more time in lines at certain booths at Maryland Sheep and Wool, so you need that second day.
Yeah. And did we have to spend any line time? I don't think we had any line time.
I think we only would have if we bought food.
Yeah, that was the only time I actually saw a line. Most of the time, the vendors, it was not. There was people shopping, but it wasn't like.
There was never a booth you couldn't get into.
Exactly. And you couldn't just get your things and pay and go.
So that was our day at New Jersey Sheep and Wool, which is actually called the Garden State Sheep Breeders Sheep and Fiber Festival. Just so you
So
know.
if you guys had any Fiber Festival experiences, let us know in the comments. Would you go to something like New Jersey Sheep and Wool? Or are you gonna save it all up for a big one like Rhinebeck? Anyway, I think we're done.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys next week. Bye bye.